Taking the time to do some simple preparation for your car's MOT will reduce the chance of it failing for something minor like a blown bulb. It can also be advisable to have the car serviced before an MOT, as this should pick up any faults that would cause it to fail. A well-serviced engine is also more likely to pass the emissions test. Nearly 20% of all MOT failures are caused by a blown bulb. Check your headlights on dipped and main beam, side lights and indicators at the front, rear and sides. Also check the brake lights, rear number plate lights, rear fog light, and test the hazard circuit separately from the indicators. Front fog lights and reversing lights are not part of the MOT. When the headlights are on high beam, make sure the dashboard telltale illuminates. Finally, check the light units for cracks or damage and secure fitment. All tyres should be above the legal minimum tread depth of 1.6 mm across 3/4 of the tyre's width. Check for splits in the tread and bulges or cuts to the sidewall of the tyre. Make sure there are no wheel nuts missing or heavy damage to the wheel itself. A spare wheel is not a requirement for the MOT and is not checked, unless it is being used as a road wheel at the time. A car will not pass the MOT if a space saver is fitted. Check the windscreen for chips and cracks. The car will fail for cracks over 10 mm in the driver's line of sight, which is roughly the area directly in front of the steering wheel. The remaining area swept by the wipers can have cracks no larger than 40 mm. Small stone chips should be repaired as soon as possible to stop them spreading. The wiper blades should be secure and clear the screen effectively for their entire length. Lift them up and check the rubber is not split or perished, and that they are safely attached to the wiper arm. Top up your screen wash and test the jets to make sure they're working correctly. Blocked nozzles can be easily cleared with a pin. For cars where the power steering fluid level is visible, the reservoir should be above the minimum level. For cars with electric power steering, the malfunction warning light on the dashboard should illuminate with the ignition and go out after the car is started. The fuel cap must lock securely in place, and the seal shouldn't be split or perished. The exhaust should be secure and not clank over speed bumps or on the underside of the car. The car will fail an MOT if the exhaust system has a hole in it, known as the exhaust blowing. Test the horn to make sure it works and is loud enough to attract the attention of pedestrians and other motorists. The mirrors must not be smashed and should be properly secured to the car. Mirrors fixed with sellotape and string will probably fail. The bodywork must be free from heavy corrosion or damage and protruding sharp edges. Doors should work from the inside and outside, and the boot and bonnet need to close securely. Make sure the rubber on all the pedals isn't worn away, and if your car has ABS, the warning light should illuminate, then go out after the car is started. If the car has an electronic parking brake, there will be a dashboard warning light to indicate malfunction. If illuminated, the vehicle will fail. Finally, check the handbrake will hold the car on a hill. Both front and back number plates should be secure and not cracked, faded or hidden by dirt. The letters and numbers should be standard and evenly spaced. All seatbelt buckles should latch and fasten securely and lock when you give them a sharp tug. The belts need to be in good condition without fraying or cuts. The seats should be firmly bolted into the car, which you can test by trying to rock them. They will also be tested for their ability to move forwards and backwards freely and lock correctly into multiple positions. This applies to both manual and electric seats. The best way to make sure your car passes the emissions test is to have it serviced before the MOT. If you mainly drive in town, it can be worthwhile taking the car on a longer run, where a higher engine speed is maintained for longer. This can help clear out sooty deposits from the engine. For cars fitted with electronic stability control, the warning light should come on with the ignition and then extinguish after a few seconds. If it stays illuminated, indicating a fault, the car will fail. This check also applies to warning lights for cars fitted with electric power steering, brake fluid warning lights, tyre pressure monitors, airbag lights, and seatbelt pretensioner warnings. The car battery must be secure and not cracked and leaking fluid. The wiring should be in good condition and not likely to short circuit.